What's going on, lads and lasses? Welcome back to the channel. Second video of the day on the channel, of course, is I put out a video already talking about my top 10 Newcastle United home shirts of all time. If you haven't seen that video, do go check it out. And if you can, please leave a like on it, as it does help the channel to grow. So, talking about the topics in this video, it's time for Newcastle United news time, and we're going to be looking at the news circulating around the club, of course, at this moment in time. And with there being no Newcastle United games until the 3rd of April, means that Newcastle United, of course, have headed away for another warm weather training. There's been nothing really extensively talked about on it this time, unlike the trip to Saudi Arabia. But the players and the staff have all travelled out, bar the odd one who are travelling out today to go out, of course, to Dubai for some warm weather training. Hopefully, it will be able to bring on the same effects that the one that to Saudi Arabia did for because we came back from that and the team looked like they'd bonded really well together and were able to, of course, get on a good run of results as well until, of course, that Chelsea game. And moving on to the Chelsea game swiftly, it moves on to the talks about Isaac Hayden after the game. Of course, Isaac Hayden put out some tweets after the game saying, Newcastle were unlucky to come away from that game in losing to 12-man Chelsea. Now, he has been told by the FA as of today. There's a statement out. This image will be up on screen of the statement, of course. Newcastle United FC's Isaac Hayden has been charged with a breach of the FA Rule E 3.1 following their Premier League game against Chelsea on Sunday, the 13th of March this year. It is alleged that the midfielder's comments on social media after the game constitute improper conduct as they attack the integrity of the match official and or are personally offensive and or bring the game into disrepute. Isaac Hayden has until, of course, Wednesday, the 23rd of March, of course, to reply and respond to these comments made about him from the FA. Now, yes, he might have made a silly tweet by saying, Newcastle lost to a 12-man Chelsea and were unlucky to lose to a 12-man Chelsea. Now, you can take this either way. It can be taken as he's having a hit at the referee, which he more than likely is, or you can take it as, he's saying 12-man Chelsea as in the 12th man for the fans of Chelsea. I don't think it's the fans of Chelsea, obviously. I think it is a hit at the referee, but, who's to argue with them comments? At the end of the day, it was a dodgy call by the referees in that game. Now, by no means, am I saying that it's the right thing to do. It was a silly move by Isaac Hayden to make a comment like that. It's obvious that the FA are going to come in and try and, punish you for something like that. But, you've got to admit that the lad had a point. Looking at the way that result went and looking at the way the game went as well, there was loads of people, not just Isaac Hayden, but there was pundits galore saying, that was a poor decision made by the referee in that game and by VAR in that game. So, not only it's Isaac Hayden coming out and saying it, but many people are saying. But yeah, at the end of the day, if he gets charged for it, fair dues. He shouldn't really be making comments like that, but I can see where he was coming from with them at the end of the day. But we'll see what happens with it. He does have until the 23rd of March to reply to it, but he's not going to be playing for the rest of the season anyway, because it looks like he's well and truly out for the rest of the season, since we're seeing him with that pressure cast on his legs. So we'll see what happens going from there. There's talk, of course, of Callum Wilson being fit in time for the game against Norwich on the 23rd. He was on a podcast with a Saudi Arabian guy. Sorry for forgetting the name of the Saudi Arabian guy, but he was on a podcast for the Saudi Arabian guy. I think it was Alderweireld, or one of Alderweireld's friends out in Saudi Arabia. Anyway, he was on a podcast of that. Of course, the guy met up with the Newcastle players in Dubai, managed to get them on his podcast, managed to ask Callum Wilson when he'd be fit as well, and he's said basically that he's going to be fit within a month. So we'll see how it goes. It didn't look like he was messing around with the fan either. It looked like he was telling the truth. But of course, you can go check that podcast out. I'm sure there'll be a link to it somewhere on Twitter. Unfortunately, I can't quite find it myself at the moment, but we'll see what happens going forward at the end of the day. But it looks like Callum Wilson could be fit within a month, like he's saying, and he could be up to play against Norwich on the 23rd of April. Moving on from that, of course, Alan Shearer made some comments and stuck up for himself, stuck up for Newcastle United as well, as there was a lot of people saying, why do you support Newcastle United when there's all this stuff going on? And of course, it's a hit out again. It's the Saudis owning Newcastle United. I just put this down as jealousy, basically, from these people that are targeting Newcastle because they're trying to put in the similar boat to what Chelsea is with Roman Abramovich. It's just absolutely childish behaviour, and it's got to stop because there is absolutely no connection of PIF and the Saudi kingdom. There is absolutely no connection there between PIF and the Saudi state. So people have got to move on from it now. Newcastle United are owned by PIF, owned by Amanda Staveley Gaddafi, the Reuben brothers, of course, and that's the way it's going to be, at least for the foreseeable future, and hopefully, for the foreseeable future as well. Hopefully nothing comes along where we'll see some rule coming in that will stop this ownership. We don't want that. We don't want that in Newcastle United. We've finally got an owner that can match the ambition of us fans. Give we a team that goes out there on the field and tries, and it's just absolute pure jealousy from these people. But Alan Shearer stuck up for the club, and said that his family supported Newcastle United, and why should he not support Newcastle United? At the end of the day, he's a local hero. He played for Newcastle United in the black and white stripes. He scored the most goals for Newcastle United in black and white stripes. He's a top goal scorer in the Premier League of all time, whilst wearing black and white stripes. He's a local lad. No way is he going to support any other team. So just get off the back of Alan Shearer. Get off the back of us Newcastle United fans, and just allow to support the club, because at the end of the day, that is all we're trying to do. That is all we're trying to do, is support the club and move forward as a club after a horrible 14 years of the dictatorship that was at the club. And now it's a chance forward to move forward from that. Get rid of that wanker that was around the neck, and move on ahead. And Shearer wants to support, Shearer wants to enjoy that. So it's unfair to Shearer, it's unfair to like-minded Newcastle fans, like ourselves, to not be able to enjoy this success that is going to be coming to the club, basically. Let England call up whoever they want. The main focus for us is to stay in the Premier League. We're 14th in the league. We don't need players like Matt Target, who we're doing really well with. We're going off to England and, picking up knocks. We don't need that at this moment in time. If Southgate wants to start calling up Newcastle players, down the line, fair enough at the end of the day. But at this moment in time, I'm more interested in the players playing for Newcastle United, putting the performances in at St James's Park, putting the performances in on the road as well, wearing black and white shirt, what have you, you know. So if Southgate wants to choose somebody else over the Newcastle players, you know, let him at the end of the day. I know the players might not think similar, but hopefully they do. You know, at the end of the day, the main thing is that they perform for Newcastle United, and that's all that we should be thinking about. You know, we shouldn't be thinking about them getting called up to England. But let us know your thoughts anyway down in the comments below. That's all the news for Newcastle United today. Hit a thumbs up on the video if you liked it. Also, please consider subscribing to the channel. It's completely free. Scan that QR code and we'll move on to hopefully pick up a win in the game when we come back from that international duty. So with that being said, how are the lads?